Hey everybody, this is Tim Knight, and today is Thursday. Is it November 12th? I think. Who knows? Let me check. Make tomorrow Friday the 13th. Yeah, the 12th. First of all, most of this video is going to be just me talking. There won't be a whole lot of charts. There'll be very few charts, actually, maybe two. But I wanted to share some thoughts, especially considering the completely dour mood yesterday. I'll mention as an aside before I forget that I am intending to get the site kind of professionally designed. Right now, it's just super elementary, which is pretty pathetic for a site that's so popular. Um, Actually, I guess I should be embarrassed by it, but it's just a straight up typepad, thing. So I put a little ad out this morning for a web designer. I've been flooded with prospects, so we'll be making it nice. And the big upside for you folks, besides the wonderful aesthetics, I'm sure will one is maybe some more speed, but most particularly a better delineation between my stuff and that of other contributors, because I think that's the main hang up that people have had with non-Tim posters. But as far as the market goes, it sort of occurred to me that we're all suffering from sort of a PTSD, a post-traumatic stress disorder, because I mean, yesterday we were all down in the dumps and feeling awful, and the morale was super low, and the Dow was up 44 points. I mean, considering the mood, you would have thought it was up 440 points. But it isn't just that you had one tiny pop in the Dow. It's just 8 solid months of disappointment du jour. And there comes after 20 months of that, even a 1 point rise in the Dow would have people jumping off bridges. So it's no surprise that people were feeling so rotten yesterday. But I wanted to walk you through my own emotions this morning as I looked at the ES, and I'll just sort of scooch the scroll bar, so kind of do a replay of where my head was at. This is what things looked like when I first got up, and these days I've been getting up at absurdly early hours. So the ES was down about 6 points when I first looked at it, and it was lower than it had been the prior day, so that was pretty encouraging. I felt pretty good about that. And I did a post early this morning expressing very cautious optimism, but I hastened to add in that post that disappointment is the bull specialty these days, and don't be surprised if we get this yanked out from under us. And as the ES kind of ticked higher as we approached the open, I was just like, well, just what I was talking about. Here we go again. And that 6 point deficit kind of got erased. And then we started ticking down again, and things just kind of, it's like they're toying with us. And then it starts heading lower. And the market opened, and my portfolio was looking pretty okay. Most things were up. Precious metals were down pretty decently, and I was feeling, hey, maybe after yesterday's rough day, we'll get a bit of a break here. And so I went off to do some other things. And when I came back, I saw this. You see it's spiked up. And probably uttered something along the lines of, God damn it, because that's how I felt. Just like, Jesus Christ, we cannot get it. Break even for an hour or two here. So that's kind of the PTSD thing I'm talking about, because just a little spike up in the ES, we went from a -6 to like a +10 or something, was just like, it's just so disheartening, so discouraging. And I got stopped out of a few positions, and it's just kind of ambling around again. And then it actually started getting interesting, because it lost that up spike, then went down to where it had been earlier in the morning. And then things got really interesting, because we actually hit a new low for the day. And it's just sort of farting around here. And then got another low, and farting around some more, and then another low. So farting and then lows tends to be the move du jour, and then another low. And those hanging out in the comment section saw a lot of kind of excitement and energy, and at the end it did a final kind of little pop higher. But the cool thing was that when it was all done, this thing which I had cursed and felt like a knife in the gut was good actually, because it was a failed attempt to take out this high from yesterday, and it worked out. But let's back up. Let's look at the past 120 days on the same instrument, the same ES chart. And let's look at what's good for the bulls and good for the bears. Let's be broad-minded here. What's good for the bulls is that the uptrend is still intact. Every low is a higher low. Every high is a higher high. So that's good for the bulls. Another good thing I would say for the bulls is that each of these domes here, each of these kind of rounded tops, yielded nothing more than a small backpedaling to a higher low before the uptrend continued. Now, what's good for the bears? Oh, one other thing for the bulls. This rounded top is just minuscule, just tiny, tiny, tiny. Unlike this one here, which is rather large, this is only spanning a couple of days. I mean, if you zoom in on it, it like we were just at, it looks pretty cool. But at a distance, it's just nothing. What's good for the bears, I think, is this, and this is more subtle, but I think it's worth noting. If you look at these areas that have been tops, and I'll just sort of in real time just kind of quickly draw them out here. An important trend has changed, and I noticed this today, and I found it kind of interesting. Notice how the each successive consolidation area is higher than the prior. In other words, the low of this area is higher than this one. In fact, they kind of match kind of nicely. I'm drawing these so swiftly that I'm not doing a very good job, but you can see how the highs and the lows match up in a nice sequence. But what's happened today, what's happened with this most recent one, is for the first time, this consolidation area is not pushing higher. It's actually in the midst of its former one. That's small, that's subtle, hardly a sea change, but I think it's worth noting, because for all these many months, you have had a steady stair step, how's that for alliteration, of these zones moving progressively higher and whose lows do not even impede upon the highs of the prior consolidation. Since I'm completely OCD and anal, I shall erase these one by one. But take note of that. I find that interesting. Now, if this tumble continues, how ambitious am I going to get personally? I would look at 1065 or 1060 thereabouts. In other words, this maybe even 1070. This area right along here, the very high 1060s, as an area of support. And I'm just so damn gun shy after all this that I would ease back on my large short positions around there, because I don't put a lot of faith in just how far this can go down. And I would look to re-enter my large short positions upon a push higher. But this is the key point, and I'll bring up the Russell just to change the chart here. And this is the key point of all. There will come a time when the little game of moves down being just more buying opportunities won't be the case anymore. It'll start a serious waterfall down. I pray to God that after all this waiting, I'm completely in position for that. So I am telling myself to be patient. I'm telling myself to use stops instead of whimsy to move in and out of these positions. I want to be prepared for that move. It's been an expensive wait, but with good risk management and good sense, I think I'm going to be all right. The darn 10-minute thing's coming up, so I got to end here. I got more to say, but good night, and I'll see you on Friday.